Good morning, everybody. This is our regular November meeting of the Madison County Board of Commissioners. It's November the 21st, if you didn't know, 2022. It's 8:30 in the morning with the West Tennessee Research and Educational Center at 605 Airways and room 150. If we'll all stand, I want to call on Commissioner Hale to have our prayer.
Father, you are the giver of all good things. During this holiday season, we pause to say thank you for being the God that we love and honor. Praise and glory to you, Father. We pray that this meeting with these people here that have sacrificed their time to serve the county of Madison, I pray that we would do it with honor and communicate effectively and kindly to one another as we move this county forward. Pray blessings upon this time together. All this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Roll call.
Abernathy? Here. Aday? Alexander? Here. Arnold? Yes. Black?
Present.
Vaughn?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Bryant Cindy?
Here.
Bryant Mike? Here. Deaton?
Here.
Ellison? Here. Godwin? Hale?
Here.
Hall? Here. Hick? Here. Johnson?
Here.
Jones?
Present.
Martin? Mercer? Montague?
Here.
Neoff?
Here.
Petty?
Here.
Taylor?
Here.
Tippett?
Here.
Wall? 22 present, Mr. Chairman.
22 present, 3 absent. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, October the 17th?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this one.
Have a motion, Ms. Godwin.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hale. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Presentation by our county mayor.
Thank you, Chairman Deaton. I have asked some very important people in our community to be with us this morning. We have some Madison County farmers with us. I don't know if you guys realize, and ladies realize, how big of an industry this is for our community and how long it's been around. You know, the city of Jackson can boast a lot of things that the county can as well. But there's one thing the city of Jackson doesn't have, what the county does, and that's a robust farming industry. So I would like if you guys stand up, tell us who you are, who you represent, and then also maybe tell us kind of where you farm in the county, if you don't mind doing that.
Brent Godfrey, Spring Creek area, Madison County. Johnny Burrell, I farm out around the airport in Huntersville.
Mike Bailey, South Jackson. Scott Woolfolk, we also run the Spring Creek area. Johnny Woolfolk, I'm on Anderson Road.
David Bird is around me.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I've got one more thing to do here, and he didn't know this was happening, but Mr. Johnny Woolfolk, if you'll join me up here. Yeah, come on. While he's coming, I will begin reading a proclamation, because today is Johnny Woolfolk Day in Madison County. Mr. Woolfolk is our Farmer of the Year for Madison County 2022, so we can go ahead and give you a round of applause right now. You know, when I asked around about who might be deserving of something like this, I had not one person say a negative word about Mr. Woolfolk, and I had a lot of people saying, you better give it to him. If you don't, you got a problem. You're thinking wrong. So I have a proclamation here, and this is also momentous. This is Miss Rogetta, who's been here 25 years. That's my assistant. This is her first 2-page proclamation, okay? 25 years, 2-page proclamation. There's so much good stuff to say about you, couldn't fit it on 1 page. So I'm going to read this. The proclamation, whereas Johnny Woolfolk knew from an early age he wanted to spend his life involved in agriculture, and as a kid, he worked on the family farm and was involved in numerous 4-H activities and showing Hereford cattle. And whereas after graduating from high school, John enrolled in and graduated from UT Martin with a bachelor's degree and went on to Kansas State, from which he graduated with a master's degree. Whereas upon returning to Madison County, Tennessee, Johnny began running the family farm and has done so for over 50 years. In the beginning, he raised mostly row crops and a few head of Hereford cattle. Over the years, his operation has become a major player, raising Hereford cattle on a national level and now grows high-quality horse hay, which is shipped all around the region. And whereas Johnny is a lifelong member of the National Hereford Association, West Tennessee Hereford Association, and the Tennessee Hereford Association, he's held office in all these associations, and his best memory will always be having the opportunity to serve as the president for the National Hereford Association. And whereas John spent many years working as the Director of Agriculture and Commodities with Tennessee Farm Bureau, where he worked with Tennessee livestock producers and helped develop new ways to improve and market cattle in the state. And whereas a lot has changed in agriculture over the last 50 years, one thing has remained the same, that John's love for agriculture and the family farm. Now therefore, I, A.J. Massey, Mayor of Madison County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim Monday, November 21st, 2022 as Johnny Woolfolk Day.
All right.
You want to say anything?
Come on, Johnny, say something.
Johnny, you
One thing.
You've always got something to say, Johnny. I usually do. Thank you very much. That's all I know to say. Quite, I do love agriculture. I love farming. It's a family business. I'm an opportunity now to be on the farm with my son, my 2 grandsons, and I don't know any better place I'd rather spend my last year from this work. Thank y'all very much.
All right.
Thank you.
You know, I don't know that we ever recognize our farmers enough, because there's not as many today as there has been in the past. But I know we all really appreciate them, and thank you very much, Johnny. Thank you for what you've done. Item number 4, announcement from the chair. Let me share a quotation from President Reagan. "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it along to our children in our bloodstream, and it must be fought for, protected, and handed on from them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free." I'd like to recognize all the veterans that are here today. I know Veteran Day's passed, but if you, will all the veterans please stand? Thank you. Amen. We may disagree on a lot of things, but there's one thing we all can agree on. We love freedom.
Amen.
Item number 5, announcement from the school superintendent, Dr. King.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, I hate to keep bringing you all good news, but I just got to share it, okay? We received our ACT scores most recently for the first semester, and we are up in ACT scores. And so we are excited about the movement we've made with ACT. Our ACT was at 16 point maybe 3 or 4. Now we're at 17. And that is a hard stretch when you talk about moving ACT scores. You don't move ACT scores like that. And so I commend our school leaders, I commend our teachers for working with our students to make certain that they are receiving the necessary skills and development to be successful. So in saying that, I think most recently we were approved with our ESSER dollars to renovate Madison. Am I right, Karen? So the Madison project that we probably would have come to the commission to get some funding for, we don't have to do that because it's going to be funded completely on the school system side. That building, as many of you all know before my time, needed a roof and it needed a lot of repair. Probably the reason Madison students aren't in that building. And so we're going to go in and change it to a commercial property, continue to utilize that building. We won't really take away a lot of the history because we want to preserve the history of the building. It's a very beautiful building. But what we want to do is utilize that space for a central office, a resource center for families. We were in a prime spot where I wanted to be in a central office location that had a bus route. So families needed the support from the central office. They would be able to take a bus route to where we are. So we are excited about that. I want to give kudos to Matt Preston. Oh my goodness, he's just jumped on board with us. We got a lot of things. One of the things I told the team, we had a lot of money invested in technology, but Karen will know that I said we're not moving on any technology until I get the right infrastructure in place, and I have to have the right person in place before we push out technology. Matt Preston has jumped on board. There was a consolidation of services, duplication of services, where we're partnering with the county to let Matt lead our technology. So we're excited to have him on board. He has really became very acclimated to the work that we're doing, so we're excited. And that leads me to another great announcement, is that we just received $10 million for innovation for our middle and high schools to continue to move forward with innovation. We're one of the leading districts in this area in terms of innovation and doing things differently. One of the things that we are excited about is that our innovation center at Melissa's. Our Melissa's will be an innovation learning hub that's going to provide access to all of our middle and high school students. We have our Chief Innovation Operations, our Chief Innovation Officer here with us this morning, and I wanted her to give you all kind of like a brief update of what this Innovation Institute is going to look like and what it's going to offer our students. And so we continue to be excited and just tell everybody, choose us. Thank you. Mr. Dr. McSweeney is going to give you all an announcement. Dr. McSweeney is an alum on the north side. Teresa Littrell McSweeney has done a great job. She was the one who was responsible for green power. A lot of the things that are coming out on the innovative side is coming out of her department. So at this time, I'm going to give McSweeney the floor to give us a couple of minutes so that we can kind of share with you all the update. And again, this Melissa's project, again, is funded on the school system. And so this is ESSER dollars and also money that we're finding in grants to make sure that we can keep from coming to the commission to say, hey, look, we need this. And so when we do come to you all, it's going to be for something that we definitely need. But right now, we're going to continue to monitor the funds and put them in strategic places so that we can support our students and our teachers. Dr. McSweeney.
Thank you, Dr. King, very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Well, I need to be able to see.
Okay.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Dr. King, for inviting me. I get very, very passionate about innovation and what we're doing in the school district, and am grateful to be able to speak with you today. So, Karen, if you don't mind, just shut me down when it's time. Dr. King, you shut me down when it's time. So the Innovative Model School Models Grant, Innovative High School Models Grant, in the spring of 2021, the state challenged school districts to reimagine, to submit a plan reimagining time, space, modes of learning, and partnerships. Jackson-Madison County Schools was fully funded at $2 million over 2 years, and we're now a year and a half into that cycle of the first grant. There were 21 districts who received the grant in order to create a model, and Jackson was one of those 21. If you look at the website now for the new Innovative School Grant, you'll see that Jackson is one of the 8 exemplars, along with some other counties around the state. So we're very proud of the work that we've done in the year and a half. One of the things that we did, Dr. King's vision was to establish a Department of Innovation. And within the Department of Innovation, we assess the needs, we look at areas, again, where we can reimagine time, space, modes of learning, and our partnerships. So when students learn, where students learn, how students learn, and sort of with whom students learn. So we have 7 unique high schools, and each of those high schools have 7 unique cultures. So we knew that we wanted to rebrand CTE, make it more innovative. We wanted to ensure job market accessibility for our students in West Tennessee and beyond. And we wanted to expand the EPSOs. EPSO stands for Early Post-Secondary Opportunities. And with new TISA funding, the EPSOs become very, very important in terms of preparing students for Ready Grad. And also we wanted to expand our work-based learning opportunities through the Innovative Grant. We established Innovation Impact Institutes. There is at least one unique institute at every high school. So every one of our high schools has something unique to offer. There's a list of some of the institutes here. There are 14 institutes, including the ones that have a district focus. District focus means that agriculture, for example, thank you very much for the services you provide and the leadership that you provide for our young men and women in the schools. Agriculture is in more than one school. Automotive is in more than one school. Welding is in more than one school. So those became district focuses. But there's something unique in every school. Several of the institutes are actually new institutes. This is the Gaming Federation, Electronic Gaming Federation. We have one of the first in Tennessee, e-gaming. And if you want to know more about that, I'll be happy to tell you later. But the e-games, our students actually went to the national championship, and over here in the right corner, you see a small snippet of our small e-gaming arena. In just a moment, I'll show you something larger. Our Construction Institute at Southside, we're very proud that we are moving right along in building our tiny house. Very proud of that project. Over on the right, you see the most recent picture of that. This was a collaborative effort between all automotive departments, the welding department, and the construction department. Dr. King mentioned the green power and the electric car racing. Now, July 2022, the models, the 21 schools who provided a model, inspired the governor to expand the innovative high school model. So it actually is now the Innovative School Model Grant. And again, as I said, if you visit the website, you will see Jackson-Madison County Schools listed as one of the 8 exemplars there. And then a quote that really speaks to what the vision is of the Department of Education for innovation there at the bottom. So with the new Innovative School Model Grant, it's expanded to middle schools. The governor allocated $1 million per high school and $500,000 per middle school with some stipulations there. That equated to a total of $10 million over 4 years for Jackson-Madison County Schools to be allocated for innovation, primarily in work-based learning, preparing students for work, which of course is directed to our CTE programs. We submitted our plan September 15th. We were one of the few schools or districts, that submitted by the early deadline. Most schools are waiting until 2023 to submit, but we already had a model that we knew we could go ahead and submit. So just last week, we were approved, and now we move forward with planning and implementation in expanding those innovation institutes. So that leads us to part of the vision for the Innovative School Model Grant, which is the Melissa's Innovation STEM Center. What we're envisioning for the STEM Center is a very, very modern space with state-of-the-art equipment funded through the grant. And on the left, you'll see the before picture of what Melissa's looks like today and what we believe we can make it look like, feel like, learn like in the very near future. In that space, we're envisioning 5 specific programs: the cybersecurity, which also encompasses data science, artificial intelligence, and then the mechatronics, which is the new fancy name for advanced manufacturing, robotics, biostem, and then a student maker space. And we'll use the innovative funds along with the ESSER money from Southside and several middle schools that are within a closer proximity to that space. We'll bus those students to the space, or if they have their own transportation, so that they'll have much better equipment than what we could provide if we were putting the money in every school. We wouldn't be able to do what we're envisioning here. A cyber command center. This is the what was the library, and this is our vision for the cyber command center. This is the vision for the mechatronics area. In the cafeteria and maybe eventually into the gym, we envision an esports and robotics arena. Now, what's special about this is that this is a highly competitive extracurricular for students. We already have Jackson area robotics. We already have a partnership with them to bring our first robotics tournament to Arlington Elementary on February 11th. That will be the first district-sponsored tournament. It will attract teams from all over. And we know that when we have a space like this, it will probably attract teams even beyond Tennessee, both for our robotics and our e-space, which of course brings people into Madison County. One challenge that we have is what to do with the front of the building. And it's such a fantastic piece of history in the community. So what we're envisioning potentially is that we leave the walls in place, similar to the courtyard that we have here at the Ag Center, and we build an outdoor learning space, sort of like what you see on the screen. This shows you the 4 walls still standing. This is the vision for that space. So we envision an amphitheater that would be available to the community, as well as outdoor meeting space, outdoor learning space, and then our biostem, the agriculture piece of that, would be able to grow small crops even and plants in that space as well, similar to the hydroponics that you might see at Liberty Tech. or also the hanging gardens that are air and dirt-free. So that's a quick overview. I could talk all morning and tell you so many wonderful things. I had to choose a few, but thank you very much for the opportunity
Anybody
to
have
share.
any questions?
Mr. Chairman, have you developed, I'm concerned with the STEM Center, have you developed a relationship with the local industries in terms of determining how we can place with them the technology that they use within the school system so that it connect with them, so when these kids graduate, potentially they can move right into those type of jobs?
Yes, sir. So thanks to our Chief of Staff, Ms. Melissa Spurgeon, she keeps us connected. Train, the HVAC that's specified in that building is actually a Train system, and so we partnered with Train. Hopefully, we will have a Train Learning Center, one of the only in a middle school, one of the first rather in a middle school setting. And the Train Learning Center is the same that you see at Crosstown in Memphis, the Crosstown Concourse. There's a Train Learning Center there. The students will actually be able to log in and see and analyze the data, the energy savings data. So that's one of the partnerships that's in the grant. And then all of our local industry, making sure that we have the right equipment there so that our students are prepared for that.
Yeah, may he was up.
Go ahead.
Blue Oval, we know we got Blue Oval coming, and I know everybody's heard a lot about it. The technology is changing now with the automobile industry. Are we gearing ourselves up to prepare our kids to get and understand how electronic vehicles function and operate? Is that a tie-in with the STEM?
Yes, sir. So I've had 2 meetings with Blue Oval. One, we shared, they got excited when we were just talking about the Innovation Center, so we shared some of the pictures and details and the vision of what we envision there. And what they're sharing with us is that robotics, data analytics, also employability skills in terms of working in a group is something that they would like to see us prepare our students for, and working in systems rather than tasks. So yes, sir, great question, thank you.
I don't think, Ms. Spurgeon, you've been in conversation with Blue Oval every week, almost. So we're in conversation with Blue Oval almost every week about something and how we're gonna look at that partnership.
Commissioner Brown.
I was a Baptist most of my life. I am so impressed, and I know you get tired of me saying amen, but over 50 years I'm giving testimony. We haven't gotten these type of reports. I have many friends and family members in the automotive industry. Robotics, you're in step with what I see and what I see on media, the times are giving us. I'd like to commend Dr. King, the whole team, for the innovative model, but more so, but also for your innovative management of monies. People don't put all this outside money into a sinking ship. We don't have the state over our shoulders. We don't have, well, I don't want to talk too fast, because all of our kids aren't angels yet. But we had in the last couple of years major crisis with gangs. During this season of Thanksgiving, we need to say thanks to God and thanks for this team.
Commissioner Ellison.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question. Where is the vision for the west part of the county when it comes to school?
The vision for which part?
The west part of the county.
Can I bring that update at a later time, but I think you'll like that vision as well. Is that okay?
That's okay. That's all I want is the vision.
Okay. I share it with you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Arnold.
Yeah, $500 million, that's coming from the state. It's great. I think you mentioned there were 8 school systems. Can you tell us who those 8 are? That's important.
Oak Ridge, I remember, and Loudon. I remember that they're on the list.
Any other in West Tennessee?
I don't think there's another school in West Tennessee.
Y'all did a great job.
No, sir. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dr. King.
Thank you.
Good report. Item number 6, progress report on the jail. Anyone? Evidently not. Michael?
Sheriff Wiles was out this week. He said there's nothing new to report.
All right, thank you very much. Item number 7, report from the Jackson Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, sir. I brought, Chairman Deaton called me, I guess, Chairman Deaton a couple of weeks ago and asked us to give you all a little bit deeper update on Blue Oval City. So, there we go. Your point, I didn't know. So, we had people a lot smarter than us put together this, and Kyle and I are gonna try to get through it. So, maybe. Can you move it? There we go. So housing study, I've talked to you guys about that. We hired an outside firm June the 6th to do a housing study, which will look at the housing current inventory and projections both from housing and population out to 2035. That should be done this week. I got an email Friday saying they were finishing up and that we should have it this week. When we get that, we'll have some community events where we present those findings to the community, and obviously you guys will be a part of that. But again, Madison, it encompasses all Madison County, not just the city, looking at current population, current housing trends, current housing inventory, and then project those three out to 2035. So, what's next? There's a new website. Obviously, we have a, am I doing that or are you doing that? I'm doing that. You should. That's the problem. So we're doing a new website. We have an existing website that's really good at recruiting industry. Talks about education attainment, population, all that stuff. We're doing a new website that is aimed at recruiting people. It'll have a lot of quality of place, quality of life things, housing information, educational opportunities, both at a public, private, college, TCAT level. That will go live probably the end of this year, the first quarter of 23. Greenville, about 2 weeks ago, we took a trip to Greenville, South Carolina. There were 33 of us. Back in the early 90s, Greenville located BMW, much like our region located Blue Oval City. So just learning what they've done from a workforce, a downtown, just a wide range of opportunities that we have. We left there with a lot of ideas, but kind of overwhelmed. And I think 3 people from this group went. I think we invited county mayors. We had our county mayor go, but some mayors from other communities, chamber executives from other communities, people that are working on child care, housing, workforce, left with some great ideas. We actually had a follow-up meeting with that last week, and we'll continue to plan and sort of steal some ideas from Greenville on how they responded to BMW. And we'll take questions at the end of this. A couple of months ago, and several of y'all were included in these too, we pulled together city and county planning, the highway department, downtown, city and county parks to look at what are we going to do as a community in these areas to be able to respond in an adequate way to Blue Oval City. We quickly learned, and again, I know some of you guys, Carl, you were in a couple of them, I know, is what we learned is how are we going to build the infrastructure until we know what this community projects out to be? So that's when we backed up, commissioned the housing study to be done so that when we get that information, we can pull these groups back together to know how we need to plan and where we need to plan. It doesn't make sense to invest a lot of money in infrastructure in one area of the community until we know that's the area of the community that's going to grow. So after this week, those groups will be pulled back together and start meeting again. And I'm going to take a breath and let Kyle talk for a minute.
You're out of breath?
Yep.
Let me say one thing too. As you look at all this ties together. It's not a one-off. We don't go to Greenville to learn one thing. Ryan talked about housing. That is probably the biggest need in this community moving forward if we're going to be successful in growing the community and get all the assets here that Blue Oval is going to bring. Talk about our school system, what Teresa just pointed out. We have changed, and I've been at the chamber for 13 years. I can remember when I started, we would hide our public school system from some prospects because the numbers were so bad. and we were not working together to support that school system. Now, Blue Oval City, the folks there at Ford Motor Company, SK Innovation, they are seeking us out because of what Teresa is showing you. That has changed immensely. Because what you have invested in is paying off. Whenever you put money in the bank or you invest in the stock market, you want to see a return on investment. You are seeing that now with the school system. So we got to keep going, keep doing what we're doing. As our school system improves, that means you're going to have more houses. And that's what we're working on. That's why this housing study was funded. It means more infrastructure in the community. It means we got to look at Jackson like we've never looked at it before. We got to look at Madison County that way because people are looking at us, and it's not just folks in West Tennessee. We have all of a sudden become a place that the world is looking at. Jackson, Madison County, and West Tennessee have been the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, CNN, Fox News, all of those companies and those media outlets are looking at us. So it's incumbent upon us to make all these things happen that we're seeing here, and we appreciate y'all's support in helping us do that. Blue Oval City Community Event was held about 3 weeks ago, and they had done events, Ford and Blue Oval had done events in Memphis, Haywood County, and other locations. Our intent was to make that the best event they had had. And we did. We won that. I know several of you were at that event, and the feedback we got from senior level Ford folks was that was the best one. It showed that Jackson-Madison County was intent on winning the competition for folks moving to Jackson. We've been also working with regional real estate managers and asset managers. What has changed, and this happened the week after Blue Oval announced last year, we would get calls, and we still do, obviously, from real estate brokers and consultants looking at Jackson. We have never been in the game where asset managers are calling and saying, hey, we represent this fund. We do warehousing, distribution, commercial, single-family residential, multifamily residential. Those people are starting to look at Jackson. So we're meeting with those firms on a regular basis, just like we do real estate brokers and consultants. One of the things that you'll see that the IDB is now exploring, we've used this a little bit, and quite honestly in Jackson it's gotten a bad name, and it's undeserved, is TIF, tax increment financing. Communities like Lakeland, Germantown, who else? Collierville, Cordova, Millington. Millington is doing a great job recruiting mixed-use developments. They are using TIFs to do that. When done properly, a TIF is just like a pilot, a payment in lieu of tax, which y'all approve on industrial projects that we do. We've got to find a way to make TIFs happen here. But to do that properly, you got to put guardrails up because not every project that asks for a TIF should receive a TIF. And so that process, the IDB is doing that now. We have an industrial parks task force. We're seeing probably about a prospect visit a week, a couple of new RFIs a week. We're being very selective. Seeing that much activity, and all of the Ford suppliers or companies that will supply Blue Oval City have not even yet been identified. Ford has not notified them that they will be a supplier. So 23, you're going to see that continue to tick up. And so that's not only with Ford, but it's other companies that are looking at this area too.
All right, so I'll talk about TSA, and I want to give, I know Steve's here, but give his team and Steve and Cindy and Jeff Parrish and Congressman Kustoff credit for this. I guess, Steve, it's been, what, 15 years about since we've had TSA, and had a meeting with Senator Blackburn and Marshall Blackburn about this, mentioned it, and probably within a month within that meeting, TSA announced that they were relocating to Jackson. So it's a huge deal. Airport will be a big piece of everything that Kyle just talked about, and we're excited to have them back in Southern Airways and get all that moving in the right direction. And I know Steve's got plans for the airport and what it will look like 5-10 years from now, and just continue to support Steve, his team in that effort.
Let me add one thing to that. When you look at the airport, consider that as a front door to Jackson. You've got companies and individuals who are investing millions, if not billions of dollars here. And so when you fly into Jackson, Madison County, that may be the only place you see right then. You may have a meeting there at the airport site. You may go to an industrial site. But that area there is a front door of our community that, in some folks, it's either the first impression or the only impression they get in Jackson. So as Steve and his team is talking to you about things they can do to upgrade, think about it that way, that if you're selling your house, you gotta make sure your front door looks good, and that's what McKellar Sykes is for us. Work Ready Lab, all of you know, most of you probably know, we've been working on this project for 5 years. Technical training and the ability to be very creative in working with our existing industries and new industries is something that we have got to do here. The McWhorter Center, Jackson State, TCAT, all of our colleges and universities, our public school system have all been working together, and we're doing great, but it's not enough. Other parts of the state have developed labs like this. We've been working on this for 6 years. And tomorrow, Ryan and I will be with Senator Jackson in Nashville, meeting with several commissioners. We have been placed, so the process to receive funding for a project like this starts with the Tennessee Board of Regents. We were number 3 on their list that went to THEC, that's the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. They submit all the CapEx projects that go to the governor's office that are related to education, higher education in Tennessee. We're number 7 on that list. Last year, they funded 20 for over $1 billion. So we're very hopeful, but we're going to continue to lobby to make sure this thing happens. It would be built on the campus of Jackson State. It's a $34 million project that the state of Tennessee is looking at. Last year at this time, we felt good about it. We got some planning money at the end of the day, but this year, with it being in THEC's budget, we feel even better about it. Y'all heard of this project for the last 4 years? I think Lori did. It was probably literally 4 years ago today we started working. We got an email from a guy named Bryson Heason, and I've told this story a lot. So Bryson said, hey, my company's Great Wolf Lodge, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we do. Here's a link to the website. We're considering Jackson or your area for a new lodge. I looked at it and I thought, this is not a project that's coming to Jackson or West Tennessee. This is a bigger market type project. I think Lori and I set up a call for the next day. What Bryson quickly described to us was that Great Wolf Lodge locates in markets that are really between bigger MSAs. So our location between Memphis, Nashville, Little Rock, Birmingham is ideal because their market area is 4 to 5 hours from a location. We were set to see construction start a couple of years ago. Then COVID hit, and what that caused was the state had to withdraw their $20 million incentive package. Good news is everybody stayed at the table, and so now Great Wolf is building 3 lodges, Naples, one right outside of Houston and one outside the East Coast. Those projects have slowed a bit because of supply chain constraints and the cost of money. So that affects our project. What you'll be voting on later this morning that the City Council's already approved is simply extending their date when they have to be under construction from December 31st, 23 to 24. And I will tell you, we actually even pushed to give them a 2-year window there. And they said, no, all we want is 1 year. Ryan and I got an email this morning from Bryson asking about this meeting. So what you're doing today is extremely important to that project. When projects last this long, what you do is you keep everybody at the table. The state's at the table, city, county, chamber, Great Wolf Lodge. We're still very optimistic it's going to happen. It's just another year delay.
I think that's it. Yeah. So any questions on anything Kyle said?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that the Greenville people readily admitted, they did not get out front on the affordable housing piece. Can you address what we will do to make sure when we make all these transitions that that piece isn't coming from behind like they admitted that it came from behind?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just doing, the first steps of doing what we're doing now is that we have to make sure folks understand that, and folks like Joey can specifically dig into this, but anybody in here that's in the real estate market, we don't have enough homes here now. And the apartments that are being built will help a bit, but we got to see more single-family residential. what folks want when they move to a community, and we've done a great job here building subdivisions where you've got streets and cul-de-sacs, that's old school now. What people want is live, work, play. And that is a place where you can live and work and play. You're gonna have subdivisions built that are mixed-use type developments, where you may have several common areas, you're gonna have enhanced streetscapes, boulevards inside there, trails and walking amenities, and if someone wants to get up in the morning and walk down the street to get a cup of coffee, then that's where they can go. If they want to get a pizza and a beer at night, they can walk to do that. If that sounds a lot like Jackson Walk, that's because that's what it is. We need about 5 or 6 more of those in Jackson. So we're going to be working with developers to help try to make those projects happen. But it's, the first step, I think, is educating folks in leadership like all of you that we've done great here, but if we want to maximize what Blue Oval City is going to bring, we have to look at things differently.
And I think that development we went to where they require a certain percentage of residents to be there to be on a certain income level, I think they're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube now because they realize they've made a mistake.
That's why I asked the question.
That's right, and there's no way to do that. So I think what we're gonna have to do, and I think you're the one that brought it up in Greenville, is we're gonna have to have a plan that has policies and ordinances in place that require developers and builders to set aside a certain percentage of their inventory or whatever so that these, when these developments are done, that people aren't displaced and people, like downtown, quite honestly, in Greenville and on a smaller scale here.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes. In Pontiac, Michigan, when it started getting the spill from Detroit, and my family members were affected there, I have not seen and heard, and I'm sure you can tell us at what point would the emergency services people be at the table, because the whole climate of this community, from safety back to ambulances, everything is impacted. And if you could tell me what point you're going to pull them into the table.
Yeah, I think quickly it just means, so our job as a chamber is to bring these opportunities in front of bodies like this. Mm-hmm. But I would encourage, whether it's emergency services or anybody, you have got to be planning for a lot of anticipated growth. And so that a lot we're about to define when this housing study is released. So then different departments within city and county government can effectively plan. But it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's a school system, emergency services, or whatever, you're going to grow. And to do that effectively, you've got to plan.
Ms. Godwin.
I'd just like to thank you for the presentation. As a licensed realtor myself, and reading that the housing cost has risen to $271,000 per household in my district, which is, I'm concerned in regard to the people, in regard to more education and providing proper housing in that area because of education and training. So so when you guys get together, I would like, and of course that area has a lot of growth, because we go from East Jackson all the way out F.E. Wright, where all the manufacturers are, but at the same time, again, I want to make sure that the people in these areas can afford to continue to live in these areas, and also be able to invest, be a part of the neighborhood, like you say, be in the equation, a part of the conversation.
Yeah, the first house is when the lift will be 10 years old, the first of 2023, if you can think that development. The first houses they sold in that development sold for $88 a square foot. Now they're a little north of $200 a square foot. So think about what that does for people that are living in that area. It's great for some people, but for some people it displaces them and makes it to where they're not able to live there anymore. So you've got to have that conversation early, because having it late is not going to, like Tony said, or Commissioner Black said, it's too late. It's a great point.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, a couple questions for the chamber. I appreciate your presence here today.
I'm a realtor as well for 16 years, and I certainly think that it would be a good idea for the community to have like maybe a round table or you know, the city, the county, the chamber all get together and a committee about this housing issue, because it is certainly unprecedented. I have a rental property available right now, and I get 5 calls a day on it. It's just a little simple duplex, and it's crazy, and it's been like that for a long time. I did have a question specifically. I drove up to Lexington, Kentucky this weekend because I'm a Kentucky alumni. Drove past the site in Elizabethtown. Has there been any discussion with Elizabethtown and what they're doing? Because they have a site, I think it's actually larger than the Blue Oval City slightly, according to Ford, that they're developing. There's like 14 cranes right up to 65. That's part one. Part two was came to the meeting I went to with Lori. As I was driving up there, I noticed this as well. Bowling Green had a beautiful sign. Welcome to Bowling Green. Lexington, of course, has always been nice ever since I went to school there. Welcome to Lexington. Our sign, which I believe the city put up 20-something years ago on 45, is leaning over. Someone ran over it maybe. I just think maybe we need to come together as a community and get some better signage. Just simple thing there. But I'll sit and listen. Thank you.
To address the first question, what you drove past was the SK Battery Park. So SK, when they announced the partnership with Ford, Blue Oval City, it is the largest manufacturing development underway in North America now outside of a refinery. So that one is large, but it's actually smaller than what is being built here. But it's 2 battery plants, 5,000 employees. And the reason we went to Greenville was because site selection consultants, real estate brokers told us that is the best example in the country of community development. A community doing all the things for 30 years that we're talking about today. Your second question is, we have failed as a community in terms of signage. It's something we must address, and it's got to be done consistently. You don't just put up different signs as you come into Madison County or the city limits that all look different, but that is absolutely something that we can do. And it's another example. A chamber, we don't fund those signs, but I can stand up here and tell you today it's absolutely important that we fix that, because we don't look good if you're driving in and out of Jackson.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And I wanted to thank y'all that, you know, all this stuff that we're doing, the website, the housing study, you know, you guys paid for it. The city, the county, the hospital, and JA came together and funded those projects. So thank y'all.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into my question. I just want to know, as we prepare to go into budget season next year, like based on your work, what would you ask us to prioritize or be top of mind as we go into budget season and planning for the future on the county side?
Yeah, I think that's something, as y'all are doing that, we would love to sit down at the table with you and explore some of these ideas, because yeah, we could go through some things that we've listed here today, but quite honestly, we don't know everything that all of you are considering, so we can provide some input to that process.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Steve, would you like to give an update on our new carrier?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor. Good to be here. I will, if it's okay, Mr. Mayor, I'll just go ahead and include this, and we'll skip that other part. First of all, let me say that the airport is proud to be in West Madison County. West Madison County is a growing area. In the last 15 years I have been there, I have been totally amazed at how the landscape in West Madison County has changed. I spent a half a day with Dr. King back in the spring. We had a great visit. We got to know each other. I think that the airport is totally committed to any STEM that we can do to help that program. And we're excited about being a part of the young people and the school system here, no question. The new air carrier, like all new air carriers, they're having some growing pains. But this is the first step, and TSA is the first step to returning jet service to Jackson. And it can come now that TSA is finally back. It can come now because we're talking about people coming to Jackson to work and to be part of Blue Oval and to be part of all that other. Our corporate business, since the announcement was made that Blue Oval was coming, our corporate business is up 60% from where it was in 2019. And those numbers relate to jet fuel sales. We have absolutely zero hangar space to rent at the airport. Every hangar that we have is full, and we're looking to grow and do that part of our business as well. The airline, we're excited about Southern Airways Express, and I appreciate everybody knows me knows I'm an old radio guy. Don't ask me to speak for 5 minutes when I can take 15 and do the same thing. But the gentleman that is our district representative for Southern Airways Express, Mark Sistari, was the Convention Business Bureau president or chairman or however it is in Greenville, South Carolina when BMW came to that city. So we've already begun to look at how the airline is going to be affected, how the airport is going to be affected. We're looking at a new plan that we'll provide sometime this year to this body. And to prioritize your budget, we're going to build a new runway next year, so be sure that's on your list. Southern Airways Express is doing well, and they are still having some growing pains, as I said. However, our partnership with TSA, our partnership also includes the Madison County Sheriff's Department, Emergency Management, Fire, and the ambulance and hospital. All of these entities are learning to work together again. We did that when I came 15 years ago, and then we lost TSA. But what TSA does for us is it allows you to go on United's website, which Southern Airways has a code share with United, with American, with Alaska, and Hawaii Airlines, and they're about to add Delta Airlines to that, which means you can eventually go on Delta Airlines site and decide if you're going to New York City, for example, you can book your ticket directly on Delta's website from Jackson to New York City. You have one ticket, your luggage goes, you don't have to grab your luggage and plan your trip in two different sections like you've had to do for the last 15 years. So this is the first step for jet service. We're excited about it. We want you to meet the people that are involved in this that's going on. Southern Airways Express and the Airport Authority Board is sponsoring the business after hours for December. It's on December the 8th. Mark your calendar, everybody's invited. We have spent the bigger part of this summer putting a fresh look on the airport terminal, all new lighting. We have done a lot of things to brighten it up. We want you to come see that, and we want you to be a part of business after hours. Traditionally, there's been some kind of special giveaway from the airline. We don't know if they're going to do that again this year, but I imagine they will. And so everybody, we're excited about it. We want everybody to come and see where we are and see what's next. As Ryan and Kyle said, when we first got notified that TSA was coming back, Kyle Spurgeon was my first call. Actually, Ryan was probably my first call because he's my boss, chairman of the Airport Authority, and he's done a great job this last year. And then we called Kyle, and we looked at what it was going to mean for the Jackson area. It's going to mean a lot, what you all do over the next few years. All is going to be impacted by what goes on at the airport in West Madison County. We began to see increased traffic 2 weeks after the announcement was made. And we can pretty much tell you the companies that are really serious because the state brings them in, the chamber meets with them, and then the next week or two, they sneak back in their own airplane and look again, and we see all that and we know. So we're excited about being a part of that. We're excited about you all having the opportunity to move Madison County forward, and I'm excited about continuing to leave the airport at least for a little while longer. So if you have any questions, our door's always open, and I look to see everybody on December the 8th. Thanks.
I have a question.
Thank you. Yes, Tony.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Smith.
Steve?
Steve.
Yes, sir.
In terms of priority, where would you place either runway distance, terminal space, hangar space? Where are we at?
Runway conditions got to be the first thing. We have been planning our runway, our primary runway. We have two, 1129, a short runway, and then 2220, which is the primary runway, 6,000 feet long. This surface is 38 years old. Useful life on these things are usually 20 to 25 years old.
Okay.
Our maintenance has been exceptional. We've worked on it over the years, and we've stretched it about as long as we can go. We had it scheduled to do in 2022, and then, as everybody knows, just with like Great Wolf Lodge, everything got kicked back. So it looks like 2023. Federal government has committed $6 million to the project. The state has already committed $7 or $8 million to the project.
Okay.
The city and county's part of that will probably be about $350,000 to $400,000 each to make that a $13.5 million surface overlay.
Okay.
That's going to be the first thing that we've got to do. We're looking at a plan that I presented to the board last Monday night. We have hangars that are 80 years old.
Wow.
They were built for World War II airplanes. We still use them, and they're still full.
Right.
And they leak. Ask Rusty Revere. He's complained on more than one occasion. These hangars have got to eventually be replaced. So what we're looking at doing is the bipartisan infrastructure bill has put about $10 million in hangar projects out there for local airports. We're looking at doing a terminal area plan and applying for that first $10 million to come in and build on an addition to our current terminal. That way we can move the airport authority offices inside, build a 2-story addition, maybe even a 3 onto that terminal, where we can eventually put a jetway in there to attract the airplane that we want to eventually attract. That would be step one, and then the two old hangars would come down, that would be 2. The new airport layout plan, which we'll do 90% review on in January or February, I'll be glad to bring that plan back and show the board. We are putting some places for private hangar development over on the side of where we had the property that we transferred to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and also to the Highway Patrol. There's a section there that's flat, runs all the way to 223, and we're looking at building a private development area there so these corporations can build their own facilities, and they'll pay the county a land lease on that for 25 or 30 years, whatever the thing turns to be. So, like the chamber, we've been doing a lot of planning. Ours has been going on for a long time. There's a section over by the Tennessee Army National Guard building. It's about 80 acres. We're looking at developing that for MRO, manufacturer's representative area. We're gonna need some help from the state and from the feds to build out Delta taxiway to cross that area. However, that would be another area. The county also owns, and it's under the Airport Authority direction, we own from the corner of Technology Center Drive to all the way on the front of 223. And that area out front, we've always looked at would be a great place for office complex, a small hotel, because there's nothing in that industrial park area out there for people that would come and stay overnight and be part of Pacific Industries or that area that
Right.
in and out of there. We're seeing a lot of visitors right now with Kellogg's. So all of that would be an area that we would like to eventually develop. Not necessarily, but we'd love to lease the land and work that out. So we have had initial conversations with TVA on their planning services, and and we will we'll try to get back with you guys on that as the year progresses. But
Thanks,
a lot
Steve.
going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I want to share one thing. This is a personal friend of mine, and I'll read this directly from Facebook, and it affects the airport. This is Scully's Golf Course. It says, with heavy hearts, we're announcing the golf course is now permanently closed. On July 29th, our fearless leader, Dart Longeway, had a major brand aneurysm with recent event. We were unable to keep it open. We want to thank those who visited the golf course over the last 22 years. So it's my understanding that like about 5 holes is leased land that the airport owns.
33 acres of that golf course belongs to Jackson-Madison County.
I didn't know if you guys were aware of that. I mean, I knew you probably knew
Dr.
this.
Harvey Harmon is Dart's brother-in-law. Dr. Harmon and I have been in contact with each
Okay.
other. They are trying to sell the lease that they have with the Scully Trust and the equipment that's there that Dart had.
Okay.
It's sad to see that. The old Skyways Golf Course has been out there a long time and still played by a lot of people.
Right.
The Airport Authority has looked at this, and we're still in agreement that we'll do what we can to try to put someone in that lease. We do lease that 33 acres just as a flat land lease back to whomever holds the lease from the Scully Trust. And we want to see that golf course continue to do well out there, and we're very aware of that. And Dart's a good neighbor, and we hate to see him suffer these health problems.
Well, someone who worked in the golf course business as a youngster, I think that may be a high order. I don't know if it'll survive, just my personal opinion.
Thanks, Steve. Item number 8, report from Lori Nunnery with the Jackson-Madison County, Tennessee Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm sorry, Gary.
Sorry. I wanted to ask Steve about how much property is available to extend the runway, or do y'all have that?
The Airport Authority has purchased property all the way from the end of, I guess probably about 1,500 feet off the end of runway 2. The airport owns that property. There's a strip that belongs to the Rachel Smith farm. Ms. Smith passed away earlier this year, and that property is still being, there's some disagreement with family members on what's going to happen to that piece of property. About 14 to 18 acres would connect it to the property that the county and airport own, that runs all the way to the property that's owned by the Civic Center, or the community center that's in the old Westover school building down there. That would give us the opportunity to put about 1,500 feet eventually on the end of the runway. The kicker is, under the new FA rules, Smith Lane, where it makes that curve and turns back on the old Denmark Road down there, it would have to be moved about 250, 300 feet to the east, to the west rather, so that it doesn't fall into the approach to runway 2. That's the kicker, but the property's there and most of it's available. So
How much longer would the runway have to be to accommodate a larger airline?
Well, we would need to be somewhere around 8,000 feet to accommodate a large legacy type carrier. However, all of the airports about the size of Jackson have been running RJ-45s and 70s, and we can do that now. We're set up 6,000 feet, 100 feet wide. We can do that now.
Thank you.
Okay, Laura.
Thank you, Chairman Deaton. After following all these guys, I don't know what I can tell you that you don't already know, but here's something that you should know, is that we have 6 hotels in the pipeline right now that are committed to coming into Jackson. 6 hotels. There are 2 on the fringes that haven't gone definite yet. So there's a lot of growth hotel-wise. I often see comments on Facebook is, we don't need no more stinking hotels. Well, let me tell you, those hotels are contributing to our property tax, to our sales tax, and then also to the general fund of both the city, the county, and our organization. So things are going very well hotel-wise. We're up about 14%.
We are seeing a tremendous increase in information requests for relocation. We get those calls in our office, and we're spending a lot of time counseling people. They're asking great questions about our community. So I'm excited to see the website coming from the chamber as far as visiting or relocating to Jackson. We're excited to see what that provides, because we're hoping it can help to answer some of the questions on an initial level. But I wanted to let you know that there's a lot of growth going on as far as people relocating to there, but you already know that. Finally, I think when you talk about priorities for our office, one of our challenges is growing the staff size of it. We operate off of 20% of the hotel motel tax that's generated. The other 80% is shared between the city and the county. We're gonna have to grow our staff size to be able to meet the needs and the inquiries that we are having. There is a lot going on, and I don't do that in a haphazard action. It's something that we need to do just because of the questions that are out there. So that's probably our biggest priority coming up. I think our second priority would be to improve our marketing. When I started this job, we would design an add-on publisher, and we all know now that's not how it's done. It's digital, it's images, it's video, it's so different. And so making sure that we improve our marketing and the analytics to evaluate our marketing. We can't just put it out there and not look at it and examine it. So that would be the other point. The third and final point as far as what we need in the future is we need product development. We need unique things for people to do in our community. It's not the old traditional, oh, you go to this place and you see a museum. It is so diverse now. It's about experiential opportunities. So we need product development in our community, and that is a huge need that we're going to have to look at. So increasing our staffing, improving our marketing, and product development are three of the things on our horizon. I appreciate Commissioner Mihab and Hall coming to our meeting. Please know that there's an open invitation at any time to come to our Community Economic Development Commission meetings. That is a mouthful. They're usually held the third or fourth Thursday of the month. Shoot me an email. We would love to have you there, because I think we had some great discussions that came out of that. And please know that our office is always open to discuss opportunities in our community because we want to make it better. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Item number 9, report from the fund.
I just want to say, I got a text this morning. We've been praying for Dart Lonzo in our Bible study. Ryan's in there. Anyway, passed away yesterday.
Wow. Who was that?
Dart. You were speaking.
Oh, yes.
Dart.
Yeah. Did not know that.
Yeah, he passed away yesterday.
Wow. Thank you, Barb.
Yes, sir.
Item number 9, report from Finance Director Karen Bell.
Got the fund balance up for you to see. Currently, the general fund balance stands at $15,740,744. Year-to-date budget amendments pulling from the general fund balance is $1,445,422. Fund balance remains at 29.08%. The one that I am most concerned about that I want to give you an update on is our capital fund balance is down to $526,000. These are unaudited fund balances. The auditors are still completing the audit. We hope to have that by December the 15th.
Thank you, Karen. Item number 10, report from county officials, standing special committees, old business, action thereof by this board. Commissioner Alexander.
Yes, sir. Report from the property committee. We met with, we were approached rather by Pastor Michael Jones with Pride Athletics to rent the ball field complex behind the finance building. And what we came up with was offering him a 1-year lease on that, which he did accept. So, and appreciate County Attorney Bush and Risk Management Director Winslow for helping hammer out the details of the lease and everything. But it's the recommendation of the property committee that we offer him this 1-year lease on the property there.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Excess property met, and bringing 42 properties this morning to, for sale, and that we've already taken bids and everything on.
First off, I want to recommend, or I want to commend Sarah on her work on all this. Sarah McLean, wish she was here to receive that, but I'd like to make a motion that we accept all these as at one time.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any discussion? You want to read those 42 off?
Sure. We have 1410 South Highland at $3,000, 309 Monroe at $1,140, 515 East Dedrick at $1,500, 211 Oak Street for $1,038, 115 Spoke Street, $500, 114 Spoke Street, $500, 105 Booker Street, $700, 127 Booker, $800, Cane Creek, $350, Chester Street, $350, Denmark Jackson Road, south of, $525, Hayes Avenue, $350, 206 James Buchanan Drive, $1,300, 110 James Buchanan Drive, $350, 803 James Buchanan Drive, $350, Lakeland, $600, 129 Melrose, $1,782, 305 Middle Avenue, $350, 120 Middleton Avenue, $350, Bay Meadow Drive, $1,383, Camelot Cove, $350, east of Carlos, $350, Caroline Drive, $350, 202 Carter Street, $700, 413 D Street, $350, 312 Day Street, $1,284, 605 Day Street, $322, 110 First Street, $700, Hillcrest Circle, $350, James Buchanan, $350, 106 Logan Street, $625, 105 Monroe Street, $900, 106 Orchard Street, $350, 136 Payne Street, $1,100, Scott Street, $850, 110 Second Street, $350, Tracewood Cove, $350, Westover Road, $1,250, 204 Whitehall Street, $700, 504 Wilson Street, $350, 508 Wilson Street, $350, and 540 Wilson Street, $350, for a total of 42 properties, $29,000 plus dollars.
What was that address at East Carlos Street?
Carlos? No address on it. There's no address on that particular one. All they had is a landlocked property, I believe.
Ms. Godwin?
I just have one question. I should say I may have one, but right now I have one. Are there anyone buyers on that property that bought more than a few pieces of property?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there anyone on that list that bought the majority of the property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to know who
Okay, list of buyers, the different buyers that were,
that bought most of the property.
would be David Cloninger and Jason Wilson would have been the majority buyers on those.
Anybody else have any questions?
But anybody wanting to purchase this, they can raise it 10%.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do I need a motion to accept these?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept the sale of these properties.
Do I have a second?
Motion to take them together. We already have a motion to, right now, on the floor to take them all together.
Yeah. Now we
haven't voted on that. Take them all together.
We're voting on to take them all together. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Now we have a motion to accept these offers. Who made that motion?
I think it's committee recommendation.
Committee recommendation. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. I think probably it's the first time I think we're out of the excess property business. I think it's all gone. Is that right, Jay?
I think we might have one left.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think there's actually just one, but it's my understanding that we won't have to deal with this till next September. Is that correct?
Well, in September, there will be properties, if they haven't been redeemed by the taxpayer, that were sold at a tax sale that could possibly roll off and become county-owned at that point, so there'd be additional properties to sell.
So there's been an outstanding job done with that committee and with Sarah and with Jay, and so quite remarkable that we don't have any properties when we've had several hundred in the past on a continuing basis. Do I have any more reports for committees? Commissioner Hale.
The Personnel Committee has met twice since the last full body meeting. Wants to take up a resolution that it's number 17, we can do that later. It's coming as a committee recommendation. The second time we met with the state TCRS to gather some information to ensure we're continuing to provide the best benefits to our employees. We're going to continue to dive into that data and learn the costs and the benefits and weigh them. And then in January, we'll meet and hear a report from Voya, our current provider, to continue gathering information, costs, and those things. So nothing to bring other than number 17 on the agenda.
Any other reports? Item number 11, report from County Mayor.
Chairman, I will email out my report of activities and who I've met with and different parts of interest. That will be from October 1st to November 18th, which was last Friday. Second time, I won't list what I've been doing and who I've met with, but y'all look at that, please, and let me know questions about reasons for things, and you can kind of see the activity coming from the mayor's office. I also want to, I just feel a lot of excitement and momentum from lots of different organizations in this room, and I'm proud of that. From our schools to our tourism to our chamber efforts. We have a local reporter now that's here from a local newspaper, so y'all go subscribe, please, because he needs to feed all those 17 kids he has. But lots of positivity, guys, and I just want to encourage everybody to stay at the table when these organizations come and ask for resources. Do what we can. I know we can't sell the county, but we can do things to help further effort. There are things on the horizon that none of us can even imagine. And I want to emphasize that and encourage all of us to grab hold of the excitement. And finally, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for 25 men and women who sacrifice a lot of their time I know you guys get paid quite a bit of money, but other than that, you sacrifice all your time and effort in the interest of the county and their citizens. So I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Item number 12, any amendments or transfers to the general fund, school department, capital project, highway department, debt service, juvenile court service budget for fiscal year 2022-23. Commissioner Johnson.
Chairman, from fund balance, item 1, risk management / insurance recovery, $22,600 for repairs at the sheriff's department from insurance recovery for the March 22 storm.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 2, EMA, $11,500 increase in EMPG grant funding designated for salaries.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Insurance recovery and refunds, item 3, highway, $12,760.90. Commission approved for department to repair sinkholes at airport.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Item 4, highway, $7,974. Insurance recovery funds received from insurance company for repairs to highway department and property and equipment damaged in the 22 storm.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
New programs, item 5, Sheriff's Department, $188,695. Direct appropriation grant from Madison County Mental Health Transportation.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 6, Sheriff's Department, $84,829.99. Set up THSO Network Coordinator and THSO Alcohol Saturation Grants.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 7, Archives Preservation of Records, $2,300 state grant for archival boxes and file folders for storing Chancery Court files.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Health Department, reopening schools, $500,000. This is new money, new federal grant and allocation for expenditures.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Transfers, item 9, EMA, $708.16, cleaning up coverage for department overtime, employment overtime.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Item 10, EMA, $662, overage being returned to original account.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 11, county clerk, $18,000, gave a one-time bonus after tax to full-time employees hired before July 1st, 2022. 8 employees give a one-time bonus after taxes to part-time and full-time hired after July 1, 2022.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 12, Health Department, STD, $3,400, aligning to estimated expense lines.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 13, Health Department, ELC, $275,200, aligning to estimated expense lines.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Item 14, Health Department, PHEP, $35,200, increase revenue due to reimbursement from FEMA for IN deployment and increase in local retirement to annual estimate.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Item 15, Health Department, grant and aid, $800, aligning to communication estimated expense.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None.
Health Department, tobacco cessation, $1,000, aligning to contract budget amounts for utilities.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Mr. Chairman, we have one from the building maintenance. It's because of a truck, and Commissioner Aday has submitted this. It's for $4,655. It's trade again a truck and to use that money on another. And I move that we suspend the rules so we can handle this.
Second.
Have motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
As I said, this is $4,655. I move that we approve this.
Have a motion. Have a second. Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Item 13, consideration of a resolution to rezone property located at 121 Leapers Lane. Planning Department here?
Mr. Chairman, the planning department had requested that be tabled and moved to December meeting.
All righty. Item number 14, resolution addressing removal of overgrowth, vegetation, accumulated debris, and litter, garbage, and whatever building, the code 55115. Who brought that from?
I thought these were property committee recommendations. Did these go, they went before the property committee and were approved there?
Committee recommendation.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any discussion about that?
No discussion. What change are we talking about? I don't know.
Mr. Chair.
Jeff back.
Let him do it then. I didn't know who was here. Go ahead. He knows better than me.
This was taking some TCA references out of there instead of just having the TCA references, making an actual definition on automobile graveyards, and actually moving those definitions along with the definition of refuse down to the proper code section so that they can be used in court or legal letters when they go out.
Hey, just more to define, understanding. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Item 15, a resolution adopting the official code of Madison County Stormwater Management effective 2022. Commissioner Elliott.
That was a property committee recommendation.
No second required. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Item 16, a resolution of the Tennessee General Assembly to enact a private act modifying private act of 1980. Jay.
Mr. Chairman, this is the amendment that was discussed during the chamber presentation that would extend the deadline for Great Wolf Lodge to receive the benefit of the hotel motel tax rebate. It was approved already by financial management, so it's a committee recommendation, and it requires a 2/3 vote since it is amendment to a private act.
Committee recommendation, no second required. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Aday. Yes. Alexander.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Bryant.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Bryant Mike.
Yes.
Deaton.
Yes.
Ellison.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Hale.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Mercer.
Yes.
Montague.
Yes.
Mayoff.
Yay.
Petty.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Tippit.
Yes.
Wall. 3 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. 24 yes,
24 yes,
0 no, 1 absent.
1 absent. Motion passes. Item number 17, a resolution to approve agreement with Employees Benefits Corporation, Healthcare Flex Spending Account, FSA, for Madison County employees. Commissioner Hale.
This was the committee recommendation from personnel.
Committee recommendation. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Item 18, appointment of 8 members of the Madison County Municipal Solid Waste Planning Regional Board by County Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend a few incumbents and a couple of new ones. Full board will be Alvin Jones, who's an incumbent, Billy Burkhead, Mark Aday, Gary Tippett, Kim Tedford, Pam Finney, incumbent, Bobby Weaver, incumbent, Candy Campbell, incumbent, and Mike Winslow.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Item 19, appointment of 3 members to the Ethics Committee by the County Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one incumbent that's going to remain on that board, Eden Smith, and then I'm recommending Mr. Andrew Long and Mr. Mark Cancia.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hale, a second by Commissioner Mayhaw. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Item number 20, appointment of Madison County Medical Examiner Coroner.
It's not my recommendation, but I have been in communication with the health department, and our current medical examiner, Dr. Emerson, is wishing to not remain in that any longer. So Michael Allen Ravel has been recommended by that department. You guys should have his resume with recommendation letters in your email, but Dr. Michael Allen Ravel.
Is it?
Have a motion by Commissioner Alexander.
Second.
Have a second, Commissioner Hale. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? None. Item 21, appointment of one member to the Madison County Board of Health. Dr. Marlon King, incumbent.
Dr. King?
Have a motion and a second.
Who's the second? Commissioner Brown?
Commissioner Brown.
Thank you.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? None. Item 22, consideration of resignation of Jimmy Harris from liaison to the airport authorities.
Make a motion, we accept his resignation.
Have a second? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? None. The reason he resigned was because we thought that was a board nomination, and actually a county commissioner needs to be on that as a liaison, so we'll make that appointment next month. Item 23, election of notary public. Motion with Commissioner Brown, second with Commissioner Arnold. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? None. Item 24, any and all matters related to or connected with matters set forth, items 1 through 23. Commissioner Black.
Mr. Chairman, this is just a appeal or request from those that are constitutionally elected officials. Some of us are having public hearings for the community, and we extend invitations to you all. For example, like if it's Mr. Birmingham's office, he doesn't have to come, our representative. And we made an appeal last month. We had a public hearing, and the person decided that they didn't want to come and represent that office. I would appeal on behalf of all of the commissioners when they have public hearings that you all be receptive to attend and listen to maybe concerns or questions. It would only help your department, and it would probably help you get ahead of some concerns that people have. For example, I had a constituent who emailed me, and his tax bill went up $200, and quite a few of us tax bills went up. And I think it would have been a good opportunity for that office to, address why these appraisals, and wasn't anybody going to complain or anything, it's just that people do not understand how that's done. So hopefully that many of you will be receptive when commissioners hold public hearings and invite you to come, that you would come and share with what your office does. I think that would only be a positive, and thank you.
Accountability.
Is he addressing me or is he just general?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't your office.
All right, well, I
Use
wasn't
an example. Commissioner
I just used it as an example. You're okay.
You're a good example.
You were right in front of me, that's why.
Commissioner Godwin.
To Chairman, this may be water after the bridge or however it's used. But I would like to say I'm disappointed in myself. And I say this, the matter has been taken care of, but I wish I had known about all the properties in my district that was up for sale. And I just feel that, I should have been up on it, because I know there's other people in the community would have loved to have had those properties. So I'm just apologizing to the people I represent. I want to make sure it's on camera. That I'll do a better job next year knowing what's going on, because I'm going to make sure Mr. Alexander, you and I work close together. As a property owner in Madison County, been one over 100-some years, my parents, Godwin, Wolf and all of those in Madison County from Spring Creek and Oakfield. I just love to see people in the community own property. Okay, thank you.
Have a motion to adjourn? Second, roll call.